What is up, Beauty K Sports Talk family? I wanted to react to the game that we had happen yesterday. The New York Mets versus the Pittsburgh Pirates, in which our New York Mets pulled out a tough, gritty, extra innings win against the Pirates in the 11th inning yesterday. Now, I want to give a big shout out to David Peterson for being able to hold the fort down, man. Coming into the game, having a great outing, right? Letting his fastball placement, being able to set up his all speeds. He did an absolute phenomenal job in being able to keep those Pittsburgh Pirates hitters off balance. Now, there was consistent traffic flow, and I don't want to move on from this point, right? Because we do have to talk about the first base and third base defense, because it looks like we're a little shaky to start the season, but I do believe that will get better in time. But what David Peterson and the bullpen were able to do yesterday, it was exactly what we wanted from the Mets last season. And David Peterson, once again, had a great outing, and he's picking up from where he left off last year. Now, last year, we did go into a little bit of a rut at the end of the season, but I do believe that was because that was the first time that David Peterson had went that long to the season during the max amount of innings that he was, and he ran out of gas late. And listen, it happens in baseball. It is what it is. But he started off, once again, looking back to that form that he was prior to the All-Star break, in which he was an All-Star last season. So I was very happy with how he threw yesterday. And most importantly, the pitch selection, the pitch placement, and not giving the Pirates anything easy to hit. Now, the Pirates did have some gritty at-bats against the Mets. I'm not going to contest that. They had an absolute phenomenal game. Listen, if they would have been able to get the big hit with runners on, because their thing wasn't about getting runners on, it was mainly getting the clutch hit. They weren't able to get it yesterday. Now, David Peterson did only go 5 1/3, and he did have runners on when he left the game. But you got to give a big shout out to Brazelbaum, who at this point in his career, 36 years old, has looked to finally have all of that talent that we've known him to have, because he throws really, really hard. He has a lot of movement on his pitches. So in my opinion, that's what I call electric stuff. When you have that much bite on your fastball, sometimes being able to command, right, a sinker is very difficult, because man, you don't know where the run is going to go, and it's hard to control that. But now when you factor that in with his all speed, now being able to spot both pitches, Brazelbaum, in my opinion, this year is going to have a great season. He's going to pick up right from where he left off last year, and we saw how he performed in the WBC. So you got to give a big shout out to Brazelbaum. Devin Williams, most importantly, man. Listen, man, I was very hard on that signing, specifically because you notice when you come into the New York market, you either got it or you don't. And when you come to the New York Yankees, like he did last season, and he didn't have a great year, following up the year in Milwaukee where he was the best closer in the game. And yes, Pete Alonso did hit the walk-off home run, which I believe played a role in his psyche and his ability to close out games and being that dominant closer. Last year, I saw a trajectory with him in which he didn't have his fastball. When he was with Milwaukee, he was throwing upper 90s with a changeup that was in the 83-85 range. When you're talking about speed differential, it's a lot different when you're throwing 98, 99 and throwing an 83, 84 mile an hour changeup, because you're looking at a -16, -15 on a speed differential. And last year, he had lost his fastball. He was sitting at 93, 94, and sometimes 92, 91. And when you're throwing the changeup at now 85, 86, you only have a drop off at -5, -6. So now hitters, when they're going up to bat against Devin Williams, and this is how I look at it playing baseball, right? When you have a guy like Devin Williams, who batters now feel confident against, because they don't feel like he could blow it by them, but they can also look fastball and adjust to the changeup. And we only have a -6 differential. That is why last year I felt like he got into the problems he did with the New York Yankees, because at the end of the day, he's a two-pitch pitcher. And I say all of that, right, to go back to yesterday's game, in which he was able to spot up his 93 mile an hour fastball. Changeup was sitting in that 85, 86 range, which for me, I want to see that changeup be a little bit lower, just because of the speed differential, man. Because again, the approach, look fastball, react to all speed. And I think a lot of the hitters are going to be doing that to Devin Williams. So is he going to be able to reclaim his status the way he was in Milwaukee? Does he get his fastball back, right? These are the questions that I have. But in terms of yesterday, he had a gritty performance, being in the Big Apple, understanding the pressure that came about. A big hit, and that was, listen, great piece of hitting by the Pittsburgh Pirates. I forget his name. Slashed the ball down the line, right past Bo Bichette's reach. You give him a lot of credit. That was a great piece of hitting, because that was a great pitch. Right on the outside corner, high and outside. Great pitch choice. Just better hitting, and that happens in baseball. But man, the way it turned in extra innings, bro, you're looking at this team, the gritty at bats, right? But not being able to cash in, not getting the clutch hit. Like, even when we got into the bottom of the 10th, you get the heavy traffic flow, you're applying pressure, and we can't get the big hit with the top of our lineup up to bat. Francisco Lindor, Juan Soto, Bo Bichette. And man, it's crazy because the pitcher made a great play on a swinging bunt by Juan Soto, right? Francisco Lindor, tried to get a productive out. Didn't happen. Catcher's foot almost comes off of home plate. We almost get a walk-off like that. But Bo Bichette missing the pitch on the third out, right? Because it was a great pitch to hit. Just flies out, got under it. It happens. But man, to stay with it, especially in the top of the 11th inning, when you get that check swinging bunt that was going to roll foul, somehow stays fair, and that's how you get the run. To not have these gritty at-bats, to get on base, to lead to Luis Roberts Jr., who I've said this before, Luis Roberts Jr. is an extremely talented player. He was a big trade asset for the Chicago White Sox because of his potential. The guy is extremely athletic. He can play great defense. He has the ability to hit the ball out of the yard. And he's one of those guys that when he has support around him, he's shown it. A 38 home run guy. He's shown the potential. Now, what would it be like if he was able to truly tap into his ceiling as a younger player? Luis Roberts Jr. has the capability to be a 40-plus home run hitter, upper in the average, upper 200s in the average side, and well over 100 RBI type of player. The issue is, can he stay healthy, right? But can he get enough support around him now, which he does with Francisco Lindor, Juan Soto, Bo Bichette, Jorge Polanco. You look at these guys, you have what you need around him now for him to be successful. And now he comes up to bat in the 11th inning, a guy that we all were extremely excited for, and does what he does. 3-run home run to win the game, flashing that power, in which I didn't even think he got all of it. I did think he got it more towards the end of the bat, but he got it good enough. And man, being able to hit his first home run as a New York Met, being a game-winning home run, I'm telling you guys, I said this in my last video, that the New York Mets have a ton of talent, especially offensively, throughout the entirety of that lineup. Now when you got these guys coming in, playing at this clip, if they truly play into their ceiling, we understand that Francisco Lindor is amazing. Juan Soto is one of the best players in baseball. Bo Bichette is one of the best hitters in the game. Luis Roberts Jr., if he gets it going, forget about it, man. Jorge Polanco is a great gritty contact hitter and can also hit for power. Marcus Semien, another gritty contact hitter who could also hit for power. You factor that in with Francisco Alvarez and our rookie bench, you really feel like you're in a great place right now. And I definitely believe that this right here is not fool's gold with the New York Mets. I look at what they have from a talent aspect, and there should be no reason why their offense cannot be amongst one of the best in the game. They have great approaches at the plate. They're making the pitchers work right. They are contact hitters. Bo Bichette, I'm going to talk about this, right? Because in terms of when we're talking about approach and we're talking about hitting, right? Bo Bichette, yes, he has not lit it up, right? He has struck out. He hasn't been the most productive, right? But his approach, yesterday, he hit 3 balls to the right side of the field. What that shows me is that Bo Bichette wants that ball to come in on him, right? So he can react to it later in the zone, which will help him on keeping the ball up the middle to the right field side, right? The opposite field side, which won't allow him to pull off and be early on a pitch. That's an approach. Going opposite field, looking up the middle. But what you want to do is you want to go opposite field and then go up the middle. And that is the approach that Bo Bichette is having. And I love to see it because that is great for runners in scoring position, getting those clutch hits. Yesterday, sliced the ball right down the line, hit it really hard. He hit another one later on in the game, which would have put us up with a runner on first base. Unfortunately, hit right at the first baseman, makes a great play. Juan Soto gets double up. Later on in the game, the ball that he hit to right field, he didn't get it to the warning track. He missed it. But again, the approach. It was a great pitch to hit going to right field. Those are things that I look at from our hitters. And Bo Bichette, in my opinion, he continues with this approach, the numbers are going to start flying because he has so much protection around him in this lineup that they can't pitch around him. And that is why I genuinely believe that the New York Mets lineup is extremely dangerous this year. Now, we'll say this, Francisco Lindor, right? A lot of people have been concerned with the slow starts that he's had multiple seasons outside of last year. All right. Francisco Lindor, I love this approach game 1. He was able to get on base 3 times being walked, right? But yesterday, what I saw was a guy that, yes, he went 0 for, right? I think it was like 0 for 4, 0 for 5, whatever the case was. But he hit 2 balls to the warning track. 2 really good knocks. They just didn't leave the yard. He's hitting the ball well. He looks confident at the dish because that's what I look for from our hitters. Are you confident at the dish? How does it look? How's the approach look? Are you chasing? Because multiple things go into hitting, man. It's the mindset. That's the one thing that most people don't talk about. That mindset, bro. And when you have the approach and it looks good, your swings look confident, that's what I see from Francisco Lindor. And so far, I genuinely like what I'm seeing from this lineup, man. Tough, gritty at bats, and I know I've said that multiple times, but the approach has stood the same. And those are the things that I look for. But sorry for making this video long-winded. I just wanted to get into some things, and I'm in the content creating space right now. So I just figured, you know what, let's chop it up about the Mets. Let's talk about it. Let me know in the comments what you think about our New York Mets so far. Are you encouraged with the signs of our team? Do you like the way our offense's approach is right now? Do you like the way our hitters are hitting right now? Let me know in the comments what you all believe, and what do you think the ceiling is to the New York Mets this season? Do you think that this is a playoff team that could make serious noise? I tend to think that. I do believe that the Mets have the talent here, man. It's here. It's just a matter of, can the pitching hold up? And so far, just like last year, the starting pitching has done really well, and our bullpen is holding up in the beginning stages of the season. The reality is the starter's going to have to get to the 6th inning all the time and let the bullpen be rested in order for them to be good. The bullpen has good arms. Now, I do believe we're a little bit older in that sense, right? Because, how much more production we're going to get from upper 30s guys? Brazoban, Luis Garcia, and I forget the name of the other pitcher. Is it Lovelady? I forget the name of the other pitcher who's also 37. So, how does that look long term, right? Let me know in the comments what you guys think. But that's all I got for you guys. Let's go Mets.